Kia ora everyone and welcome into the Kiwi Darts Podcast. Ben Francis here and hope everyone listening is going well. As always, thanks for listening in to the podcast where we like to chat all things darts from a New Zealand perspective. On this episode, we catch up with the Maestro, Cleaver, after his recent run of form, which has seen him qualify for the New Zealand Darts Masters in August and also securing a maiden trip to the World Cup of Darts where he will compete alongside Hopai Puha. Now, the World Cup of Darts gets underway in Frankfurt Friday, June 13, New Zealand time, and New Zealand have been drawn in a very intriguing group alongside Finland and Argentina. Now, when you think about that, Argentina, first time competing at the World Cup of Darts. Finland have been there quite a few times in the past, but I think they're beatable. So there's a very, very good opportunity here for New Zealand to really make a statement at the World Cup of Darts. It is a very exciting time. Now, before departing for Germany, I caught up with Mark Cleaver to talk about his journey in darts, playing in front of the cameras and representing New Zealand. Take a listen. Firstly, how excited are you for the event and competing alongside Hopai Puha?
Well, definitely a dream come true. I've had opportunities in the past to, to have a go at the World Cup, but just always miss out, just by a few points. So to actually finally, to get over that finish line, as we call it, to actually represent New Zealand in the World Cup, because it's always been one of my goals to tick off, in my darts. It's amazing. And to be playing along one of my good mates, Hopai Puha, is another incredible, that's because he's over there doing it now full time. He's got a tour card, and so, hopefully he's got big shoulders to carry me.
Yeah, and look, I know you've obviously played pairs and things like that before, but it's a different, a format in front of the cameras and things like that. So how are you feeling about things like that? And it's a very intriguing group you guys are in as well, drawn against Finland and Argentina, which I think initially when you do look at it, you think, man, you guys have got a very good opportunity here.
Yeah, I guess, it's not my first time being on stage, so, but, it's been in a different part of the country as well. It's going to be a little bit different because talking to Hopes, he said it's quite hot over there on the stage, and they're going to take a towel up there with you because you're just sweating all the time. So, and that's going to be something different for me to sort of try and comprehend, because me and the heat, we don't really like each other. I'm feeling good. I've been putting time on the board practicing. I've been happy the way I've been going. So, and Hope knows what I can do, and of course I know what Hope I can do. And I think if we can just put our abilities together and probably play our A game, I think we've definitely got a good chance. So, but it just comes down to the nerves and everything else, and how comfortable you feel. So. But, we're over there 4 days before we get on that stage anyway. So we got practice balls there to get in the mood of things. We're staying with all the players too in a hotel. So they got practice balls downstairs for us all. So, yeah, by the time you start mingling and meeting everyone, you start getting in a routine. And that's the biggest thing, just getting used to the atmosphere, so... And of course, with the time frame as well, it'll be the hopefully over the jet lag and all the rest of it by then too. So yeah, exciting though, very exciting.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess playing at an event like the World Cup of Darts, I guess, where does that kind of rank in terms of everything that you've managed to achieve?
Probably right at the top there. I just missed out on the Worlds once I played Ben Robb in the final as about 3 years ago in Wellington. So. That was the other goal of mine to get the Worlds. But this one here, the World Cup, it's been going for years. It's one of the biggest tournaments in the world. So, and my parents are still alive, and they're so excited because they know how hard I work, on the dartboard, and not all my mates have seen the time and efforts I've put into the sport, and there's been times I've thought about giving up. But then I'll go and have a win. I'll win something, and it gets me all excited again. So, And because I've already qualified, I've also qualified for the World Masters here in August. So it's all happening. Yeah, my dart journey is just going really good at the moment. Loving it.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things you just said there is something that we like to call a segue, which is a perfect transition into the next kind of topic I was going to, and that was the upcoming New Zealand Darts Masters to be played in Auckland this year, August 15th and 16th. And of course, it's been a busy time for you with some excellent darts on the board and having to actually secure qualification for the Darts Masters. Firstly, considering how tightly contested the top few places were, was there a big sense of relief that you managed to get over the line?
Yeah, I mean, for the World Cup one, that was in Nelson, and I knew it was got pretty close. It was down to Ben Robb, myself, and John Haring. And I was actually playing Johnny Tata at the time on the board, and once I got past that, I knew I was definitely in the World Cup. And I mean, yeah, it was just hard to believe it at first, but then it started sinking in that I finally done it. Then, because sitting on the rankings, 1 and 2, they automatically get a spot into the Masters here. So I managed to hold my spot. So so that's a relief because I don't have to do a playoff, for that. So I'll take everything as it comes, and it's just all happening at once. It's a lot to take in because it's just it's mind blowing. To know that I can still do it, I guess.
Yeah, totally. And look, you've played in a few of these, Darts Masters events in the past. Last year, of course, you were in Hamilton for that one. And have you actually been to Spark Arena before? Because it's quite different when you're looking ahead to August there for that one in Auckland, and it's a completely different venue.
Yeah. I think when the first one came over in 2015, I think we played one up in Auckland.
Yeah, out in Henderson. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I did that one, and then I played James Wade. I think that was up there, same spot too. Then I think it was 2018 where I played Michael Van Buren in Brisbane. So that was a different sort of stage set up again. Just the way the crowds all set up. So. And then, this one in Hamilton, it was, great. Hamilton's always good because the year I didn't make it, I still went anyway and supported Ben and all them. And I think Kate Mill was up there then doing it. So, and I was just sitting in the audience going, I could probably still do this. And then, started setting my mind to it. And, it pays off. It's what you believe in. Work hard and, get the rewards, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, and actually having us sat in the crowd at an event and actually being on the stage, can you kind of just talk about what that difference is like? Of course, I've been in the crowd myself. I've been right up on the stage, almost up there, but never been up there, of course. So, what is there a big difference between the two?
Oh, it's amazing. Well, I felt like I was on that stage anyway because everyone that knew who I was in the audience were just cheering for me, and I was only one of the spectators, So, but it just gives you, to think that I have been on that stage, and now I'm sitting back watching it, I'm thinking, you get the urge, you just want to get back up there again, and you ask Ben Robb or anyone like that, it's having that stage, it's probably one of the biggest achievements in your darting career to actually be on the world stage doing something, and of course, all these young ones now coming through, they've been watching the Luke Litter and all that sort of stuff. So that these young ones are just they come up the ranks really fast. So it won't be long. Most of these are going to be on TV and stuff like that. The way all these young ones are going. So as us oldies, we just got to take what we can, I guess. Take every moment.
Well, some might say enjoy it while you can, but I mean, the way you are playing at the moment, there's definitely no doubt that you're going to definitely be at the top of New Zealand for, definitely quite a bit of time to come. When you kind of look ahead to the, obviously we've touched on the World Cup of Darts coming up, the New Zealand Darts Masters coming up. There's a new event entering later this year, which is the Australia-New Zealand Premier League. Unfortunately, I think they announced that only there's going to be 2 spots for New Zealanders, one being, I think it was the top of the order of merit, and also the top 16 playoff winner, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's right.
Is that something that you have your eye on and that you'd love to be part of?
We have talked about it, but I know you get there's good money up for grabs, but it's spending the money beforehand, because you've got to do a lot of travelling, and no one knows who's going to be paying for that to start off with, because a lot of it's over in Australia, so it's pretty hard to fly backwards and forwards. There's only a week difference, in those competitions, so to fly backwards and forwards after every tournament, I think that adds up as well. So, yeah, it's something really, I suppose, because we're here in New Zealand, we don't, a lot of the players, we don't know too much of what's really going on. We haven't heard too much. And so I know Aussie are more advanced and they know more than what we do, but you probably know more than what we do, what you just said. So, but yeah, we'll just take it as it comes and cross that hurdle when we get there, I guess,
Yeah, that's totally fair enough. So I guess with that in mind, what are some of those targets that you do have in mind for the rest of the year? Because when you do look at the DPNZ ladder, I mean, it is tightly contested there at the top. I think you're 4 points behind Johnny Tata, who's at the top on 96, and then you've got John Hurring hot on your heels, and then Ben, Rob, and Jamie Hilton-Jones are not too far behind the top three there. So when you have that in mind, I guess what are your goals and targets for the rest of 2025?
I just tend to take like every pro tour or any dart tournament that I do. I just take one step at a time. I don't try and think too far ahead, because I just think that sometimes you try and put your hopes up there too high, and then I've seen a lot of people get destroyed when they don't quite get there. So I just tend to play my darts, and then whatever comes, the outcome comes, I just accept that, and if I can, like say, still stay at that top and still have chances to do things, then yeah, I'll just keep going until, whatever happens, I guess. I've never dwelled on thinking about winning. I've never dwelled on, like the Worlds or anything like that. I've never put myself up there to think I'm gonna be doing that. I just play my game, and then the outcome's the outcome. I believe in one game at a time. If I can just get through that first game, and then through the next game and next game, and the winning will happen. It'll just come to you when, if you just. I watch these young ones; they just walk in the hall, thing. It's all about winning, and then they get destroyed when they don't reach their target. So I always got taught, because I work with a sports psychologist, and he just said, you can't think about winning. You're not there yet, so just work on what you got in hand. One step at a time.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting you say that. And I wanted to go back to something that you said earlier in the interview. You touched on, I think it was a bit about there were some tough times and you considered kind of not playing much darts anymore. So when you kind of think back to that moment and then you kind of look at some of the success you're having at the moment, does that kind of make the hard times worth it in a way?
Oh, it does. Because, as people know, travelling all the time, and as it gets pretty full on, because I was doing both sides. I was doing the pro tour, and I was doing the council side as well. So, and the travelling, and you're sort of never home sometimes, and sometimes you just wish you were at home just to chill out a bit. But yes, because I work as well, so work and darts, it gets pretty full on, and then you just start having a few rough tournaments. I sort of, when my darts aren't going right, you sort of start losing that confidence. Then you start doubting yourself, and then But I always thought, I remember talking to Rod Harrington from the PDC, and he's saying, when you're going through tough times, he goes, the best way to do it is just keep playing through it. And so I've always believed in that. And when my darts aren't going right, I just keep plodding away. All of a sudden, bang, I have a win. So, that's good. I'll do well in this tournament, do well in that tournament. Next thing, your confidence starts building up again. So it's funny how the human body, the brain especially, we perceive things, because the brain can play tricks on us sometimes.
Yeah, it can, and darts as much as a skill, it's also quite a mental game as well. And you touched on as well about working with a sports psychologist. Do you kind of look at working with someone like that, and you kind of have that mindset as well of just taking it a game at a time? It's not all about winning. Do you think that's actually been a key reason for, I guess, when you look at the last couple of years, your real success and your dominance at the top of the rankings?
Yeah. Look, as a kid, I used to play a lot of golf, and so I worked with a lot of coaches and that. And believe it or not, golf and darts are very similar mentally. It's all about focus, believing in yourself, trying not to put pressure on yourself. I say the young ones about a lot of the young ones don't feel nerves now, but the ones that do get real nervous. And it's like what Phil Taylor says: you can practice all the darts you like, but you can't practice the nerves. And it's something, if you can identify yourself or learning about yourself and understanding your body emotions, knowing, finding ways to help, because we always say that trigger on the gun. If you can identify and learn about yourself and then understand your emotions, I think it plays a big key, into anything. So, and it's not easy. Some people don't know how to do that, and it's a skill I think you've got to learn. Learn your emotions, because you see so many people, bad tempers, stuff like that. And they say once you start putting the pressure on yourself and getting bad tempered, then chances are you're probably not going to fix it. You're just too far gone in your head. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm glad you haven't seen me throw a dart then, because it's definitely not a pretty sight at times. I just want to do a couple of, obviously been focusing on a lot of the success you've had, but just want to, do a bit of reminiscing. What are some of your earliest memories of darts? And that is whether, seeing it being played, you playing it yourself, or whatever it may be. What are some of those early memories you have?
I've been playing darts since the '80s, so I have a lot of great memories. And but I think I remember the first tournament I ever won was a club tournament. I was so over the moon, and so excited, and it's just the best feeling ever. And to just have more success through those club tournaments. So I always say to the young ones, you set your goals very little, start winning your club stuff before you start thinking about winning the big stuff. Get through that all those club stuff, then the bigger stuff will come. The trouble is, everyone today just wants to win the big stuff, not worry about the little club stuff anymore.
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
I've got so many great memories. It's hard to, I think the biggest one is when the Masters first come to New Zealand, and the first playoffs, and I managed to jump that first line, to actually win that first spot in New Zealand for the New Zealand Masters. And and my dad goes, "Oh, just imagine if you play Peter Wright," because that was my father's favourite player then. And sure enough, we got drawn to play Peter Wright. So it's just overwhelming, to think, geez, my first ever TV spot, because I always saw my mates like Craig Coolwell and Rob Zabo and all them top players that have been on TV, thinking, geez, I'd love to do that one day. I'd love to have a go at that, and to finally start saying, yeah, I can do it now. That's probably one of the best feelings ever.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess as well for yourself, and we hear about everything to do with your darts, but I guess what do you Mark Cleaver, what do you like away from the oche? Can you tell us a bit about what you like away from the oche?
Yeah, well, because I'm a bit of a muso, that's why I got the nickname Maestro, because I used to play in bands years ago. So I still play around. I'm into building guitars, so I actually learnt to do that through COVID. So my hobby, I build guitars, and I just love it. I've got a bit of a home recording studio at home where I haven't released anything, but I want to try and get some of my music on Spotify. So that's one of my other hobbies I want to try and do. And but yeah, I love playing pool, I love snooker, table tennis. So yeah, I'm pretty active of all, because as a kid I grew up playing table tennis, so that was one of my other passions. My father played a lot of snooker, so I got brought up playing a lot of snooker. And of course, darts, golf. I had a chance to turn a professional golf in '94. So I gave up darts for as a junior. I gave up darts for a good 10 odd years. I got back into darts about 2008, and it was about 2013 where I started putting my mind to it. Where can I go with this game? With darts. So that's when I started learning about myself. Got a coach and all the rest of it, and just started really just hitting the dartboard, just practicing because I was putting like 6-7 hours a day on the board, just practicing. I still do that today, actually. I still put about 4 or 5 hours on the board a day practicing.
Jeepers, animal with a full-time job as well.
Yeah. I've got a great setup at home with my dart setup. So I've got all my guitars around. So people come around, they see all my guitars and everything, my dartboards, and so I'll throw darts for half an hour, and then I'll jump on a guitar and jam out for 10, 15 minutes, and I'll get back on the dartboard, do another hour or 2 hours, and then play the guitar again. Then I'll go make myself a coffee, and I'll come back down, throw some more darts. So I can start throwing darts at 5 o'clock, and I'm still on the board at 10:30 that night.
Bloody hell, how good.
Yeah. So, and people go, "How do you do that, guys? Don't you find that boring?" I'm going, "No, because I just love it." I actually, once I pick up a dart, I have more trouble putting the dart down than to pick it up, because I know if I pick that dart up, I won't be putting it down in 5 minutes. Crazy, eh? So, but that's me. That's the Maestro.
Fascinating. A man of many talents, it seems. You talk about practicing a bit. Do you have a go-to practice routine that you like to do when you're on the board, or do you just play 501s? Or what do you do when you're practicing?
I've got a system called auto darts, which is a bit like Scolia. So I can jump online and play a few of the boys and stuff like that. They have a lot of practice games on there that you can do, but my main game is 501. I want to try and do it in 11 darts or less, or we'll try and do it less, but 15. I want to try and keep it up around the 15 darts. So if I can do that, I'm pretty happy. So, but just practice and practice and practice.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean,
I've got to now, because these young ones are coming up, and I know what they do. They you watch them after tournaments, they just throwing darts again at the board. Well, I'm thinking, geez, I'm ready to go home to bed.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get that. And I know you said you don't like looking too far ahead, and there's still a couple of more names to be confirmed. But if I had to say to you, Luke Humphreys, Luke Littler, Stephen Bunting, Chris Dobie, Gerwyn Price, Damon Heta, who do you want to face at Spark Arena in Auckland?
I'm not really too worried, to tell the truth. I think it's just an honour to be on that stage. So whoever I get, that professionals, that's what they do for a job. Unfortunately, I don't. If I can just take legs off them, I'm happy with that. So, but yeah, just happy to be there, in front of all my family and friends, New Zealand. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, totally. All right, Mark, I really appreciate your time, mate. So thanks for joining us here, and safe travels to Germany. And we'll definitely, no doubt, catch up when the New Zealand Darts Masters roll around. So thanks for your time.
Oh, mate, awesome, Ben. Thank you. Just watch us on TV.
The Maestro joining us there on the Kiwi Darts Podcast. All the best to Mark, and also hopes they're competing at the World Cup Frankfurt, Germany. As I said, that gets underway on Friday, June 13th, New Zealand time. So not too long